getting organized. I went through the other day some more stuff. I had got sent more scrap silver, and just trying to get a bit more organized. I've got, of course, new cabochons, and I'll show those. Today I'm going to try to be working on a custom pendant. Basically, you've seen her, Stone Muse. She wants a custom pendant, and I kind of wanted to show that. She wanted it done in copper, which is perfect for me right now because that's what I have in abundance of, is copper. But while I'm organizing, thought I'd show you another bag of cabochons from Mr. Jem. Like, glorious, right? Look at this one. Love that. This one I had ended up getting from Milk and Sugar, so there's a few of these that are in there. But aside from this one and this one, everything else came from Mr. Jem. And I ended up getting a few more serpentarian stones. Look at these. Look at the round one. That's stunning. So normally what I do, this is my drawer of cabochons, and I'll organize them by size and shape. It's a blue goldstone. So I have my rounds in one area, and then you know, the oval shape, which is a pretty common shape that I get, put them there. I got a whole boatload of tourmalated quartz, and if you know me, you know I absolutely adore tourmalated quartz. So that was a really fun get as well. So I'm just organizing, putting away before I start up. Of course, when I'm out here, I try to get as much done as possible because my time out here is limited. Most times. Excuse me, I had to burp. And I also got really cool ammonite. I've been wanting to make a really sweet pendant out of that, so I'm really excited. So like I mentioned, I'm just going through and organizing per shape and size. I have a free form section in here that I put pieces that are literally free form. I have a lot of cabochons. A lot of cabochons. But I can't bear to part with them because how could you? They're like, I have a few things that I covet. And one being my books. I collect books. Nothing crazy, just stuff that maybe sits with me in a great way. And then my cabochons. I really like them a lot. So there's that. All right. So, empty bag. I'm always telling myself I gotta WD-40 my wheels. Okay. So, just getting everything kind of situated for the day. Going through, and I know I had brought out, she had given me a cabochon to work with, which was a face. And I have it out here, I just don't remember where I put it because I'm so organized. It's probably somewhere. Nevertheless, here we go. scraping against the ground. Skidamoring, ding, skidamoring, doo. I saw it out here the last time. I know it's out here. I just gotta find it. That is quite the terrible sound. I got a lot of stuff I gotta do. Hey, Lynn. So this is a titanium coated smoky quartz to give that kind of aura look. I also got a another stone from her. I'm gonna set out here. Positive energy. Spread it like wildfire. And I have a labradorite cabochon that I wanted to use for that pendant as well. So that's going to be the main thing that I'm going to be working on today. Yeah, I think it's this one. This cabochon I got is a purple blue green labradorite. It is beautiful. Sorry about that sound. How's the weather? It's a bit cold out here, but nothing that nothing too terrible, you know? How's the weather over there? What? Oh my God. I can't. So she kind of left it up to me to determine the style of it. So it's gonna look 30s in the morning, 70 right now. So it's gonna look like this. I don't know if you'll be able to see it judging by the light here. But basically, I'm gonna have a crescent moonstone. I'm gonna have that face, and then I'm gonna have the labradorite. It's gonna be in like a goddess kind of pattern here. This is where it's gonna connect to the necklace, and then she wants it on the bottom, "Live Your Magic," stamped. So this is definitely gonna be a fun one. Love, love, love it. I am going to do it in all copper. So yeah. I might end up actually making the moon a little bit bigger. Or even the purple, the amethyst. I'm going to be using the gallery wire here, that is copper as well. That's the first one I did. And yeah, that's what we're gonna go with today. So I'm gonna take my gallery wire and shape up my stones. Yes. Yes, indeedy. That is a mess I made.
Good thing I scotch guarded my Ugg boots.
All right. What a mess. Here comes the sun. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun. I say it's alright. Cool. Skidamarinky dinky dink. Alright, so going with the more custom goddess shape, I've got a pear-shaped labradorite, I've got a crescent moon, and we're gonna go after this kind of thing. So, of course, I'm going to still really high. I'm not even going to be able to use this one because of how thick it is, and because I have such a short thing. So that's my pickle right now. I gotta find a labradorite that is going to work for this particular measurement that I have. So I think I gotta dig again. Let's see. This one's probably gonna work the best. This one's not. And then this one's too big.
This one's too big and this one's too small.
It's important to square up your stuff. Yeah, this is too tall. Too tall. Too tall. Scoop it up, scoop it up, scoop it up, scoop it up. Alright. Here we go. It'll work. I'll make it work. Hey, hey, hey. so quiet when I don't have anyone here to talk to. And let the rambling commence. I messaged Jenny, since tomorrow is the artisan showcase. I messaged her about coming on, but she told me yesterday, and I should have remembered, but I didn't. That she said she was going to go thrifting. So she is not available. Good for her, though. I can't remember. I mean, went to the flea market a little while ago. But as far as, hey Joyce. Hey. But as far as like legit, like going to a thrift store, I can't remember. My husband caught the reselling bug. He purchased this morning a vintage bread tin, and we can most definitely flip. Him and I, you know, we tend to not, I don't think that we try really hard, but we tend to get a lot of tins. I've had really good luck. Hey, Rose. I've had a lot of really good luck with flipping tins. Vintage tins, unusual tins. I think it's important that when you are looking for stuff, at least for me, I have a small house. I don't have a storage. I don't have a large amount of storage. You guys probably have seen in my previous videos what my storage is like in my house. So the things that I can keep already bubble wrapped and wrapped away in a safe spot is usually the best thing. Love tins. Plus, I do too. Some of them really speak to me. I have tins in my windowsill. I actually have them with my succulents in them. They're old, they're vintage, like Hershey's tins, vintage Snickers tins, like things that would, you know, go in a kitchen. I also found this dope pasta tin. It's a vintage Italian pasta tin. It is sick. So I tend to sell a lot of tins. They're lightweight, easy to pack. They don't, they're pretty durable. So that's a plus. And yeah, there's that. So got my copper. Yes, there used to be a store that was open by me that they had a large amount of tins, like so much so. It was so cool. But since then it closed down. They were closed on Saturdays. You would think Saturdays is a really big thrift day. You know what I mean? But they were closed on Saturday, which in a sense was mind-boggling, but that's none of my business. Anyways, love tins. Love tins. I have a really cool one on my Etsy right now that I'm like, if it doesn't sell, I'm debating. I didn't have that much jewelry, and I used to keep my jewelry in a tin. Just because since then I've sold it. But anyways, I want enough room on the bottom here to be able to put Live Your Magic. So I'm going to give myself ample amount of room. And you know, with copper's pretty durable as well. So I have this whole sheet of copper here. And I think this whole sheet was less than $8 on Beajucation. So that's a cool one. And I do the traditional. Yeah, although if they get it done, I freak out, yeah. You know, I like my my stuff to have a little bit of caricature. So that's me. I like it when it's used. That's what I go for. And I'm still working on the saw here, but you want to tighten it up. They're not safety glasses, no. Wish they were, but they're large enough that they cover my face, so I'm not concerned that they're gonna hit my face. I got them from Zenny Optical, so I'm not concerned. They'd be sweet if they were. And the problem is I have a hard time finding safety glasses that will cover my glasses because my glasses are so big.
Sweet-a-lot, 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 diddly-dee.
I don't know what I was saying.
Sweet-a-lot, 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 diddly-dee. Diddly-dee, diddly-dee.
Total act of deception is when the ice cream man switches up his tunes. Y'all ever have that happen to you? You're like, who's outside?
It's just the ice cream man.
I sounded like the radio. Oh man, that's some funny stuff right there. Yeah, in my house we were always singing. Like get up and clap, and that's just what we do. So I'm very accustomed to a hard time being monetized and have to sing. I have to. I just literally have to. So anyways, bingo. Did you guys see that? Kobe, rest in peace. Anyways, I guess I'm feeling a little bleh. I'm a retired jeweler and I remember breaking many a blade. Yeah, you should see the floor. All my broken blades are just there. Eventually I'll sweep it up. But you know, for me, this is it. I'm teaching myself, I guess. And yeah, been breaking a lot of blades. So I'm gonna map out really quick, and of course I'm gonna do the final saw out. But basically I want to stamp it before I solder anything on here, just in case I goof on the stamping. Lord knows. Those are the best kind of music, though. 50s, 60s, and 70s, in my humble opinion. I'm not, you know, I like it. That in 90s country. Ooh, love me some 90s country. I'm gonna stamp, I think I can just, and some acetone here. Probably just burn it off, but I don't want to have to call the fire department today. Not like I've had to before. Anyways, I'm feeling a little blah today because last night I got news via text message that my grandmother is not doing well. My grandmother has Alzheimer's, and she took a fall a while ago, I'd say last month, and she's been in the hospital since. And she had to have surgery because the damage was so intense, and due to the whole COVID thing, I haven't been able to, not a lot of people have been able to visit her. But I'm gonna be honest, I probably haven't seen my grandma in over a year. Yeah, we got word last night that she's no longer willing to eat or drink. And I think, you know, I kind of had an overwhelming hunch that this trip wouldn't be good for her, all in all. I don't think, you know, there's no recovery from Alzheimer's that I understand. It's, see what I did there? I just wiped off everything that I did. Well, now I know the copper's clean. So if there's really, you know, now I'm just wanting her, the comfort now. It is what it is. So it's kind of weird. I'm going to be 30. Ew. And I have not had anyone that I've known personally to pass. This is the first person in my family who's passed, and she's, you know, obviously she's my grandma. But anyways, nevertheless, so I'm kind of feeling a little, you know, a little less than shabby, but just there. Yeah, I know that, you know, I have a lot of faith, and I know that the good Lord has her. Got to. It's okay. I appreciate you, everybody. I just, it's nice to not be alone right now, I guess, is what I'm saying, is coming out here and listening to music. It's just not what I wanted to do. So I feel better a little bit coming on here, chitter-chattering, doing whatever. But hey, Mom. But yeah, thanks for allowing me to do that. So I went ahead and cleaned the back, so it's nice and clean. Following the same pattern that I did, I just went ahead and she wants Live Your Magic on here stamped. So when I do my stamp, I tend to do the middle word first, and then be able to stamp out the rest. So we're looking for like a goddess shape. So I am going to round this off here. So I want to kind of put it within this little area, this donut that I have for myself. And I do have smaller text stamps as opposed to my smaller ones. yeah, I've never had to deal with loss. I don't know if there's anyone out there who's experienced that before. I've had a great uncle pass from Alzheimer's, but I wasn't very close with him at all. This is like, you know, it's like the first time. So anyways, I have my little vise over here, and I get to stamp it. Now the fun part's to find the letters.
Tweet-la, dee-dee-dee.
Where's my hammer?
Tweet-la-dee. Tweet-la-dee.
about a joke. My 8-year-old told it to me, so I keep telling it to make me laugh. Yeah, it comes and goes. I'm kind of in a how do you turn soup into gold? I don't know. Put 24 carats in it. Yes, ma'am. That's good stuff right there. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I had already taken the bezels here, and I am going to solder them closed. I'm just gonna do a large cut of some hard solder. For me, it's really easy to remember hard, medium, soft. One of the first things that you're gonna do in a soldering, depending on how many layers it has, is hard first, medium, and then soft. Soft a lot of the times because it doesn't take a lot of heat to melt, so that's going to be like your accent pieces. It doesn't take as much heat as hardwood, so you're kind of like playing it safe that way. Hey, Becky! So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. And I have this idea in my head with this butterfly, but I don't know yet. But nevertheless, here we go. Clean my space so I don't light anything on fire. You know, the usual. And let's get to soldering. You know, I did a pretty good job when I myself can't find the seam. So for me, when I'm soldering copper, I use silver solder. I thought, oh, I'm gonna have to go and get, you know, copper solder, silver solder, but in reality, it doesn't make too much of a difference, at least for me, because when I go ahead and file it down, I buff it out. And copper does take a little bit more heat to solder. There's no way around that one. It's a higher burning point than silver. That's why it's easier to work with silver, in my humble opinion. But what can you do? When you're just working with copper, you don't really notice. But when you're working with copper and silver, you notice for sure. Yeah. And of course, whenever you're working with gallery wire, you always want to be aware that you can melt it easier, even if it is copper. And into the pickle. And yeah, solder does not fill a gap, so that's why you have to make sure that your lines are pristine, because that just makes everything a whole heck of a lot easier when you're soldering. Try not to get your face on the torch. And I put a little flux on the on my piece before I solder it, and then I heat it up so that it crystallizes. That way you minimize the amount of solder jumping off, because when it crystallizes, it moves. And so at least this way, you know, you're not, hopefully not going to get a problem. Moving solder.
Tweedledee, tweedledee.
I feel like I always get a song stuck in my head out here.
Tweedlot, 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 deedledee.
I'm waiting for my hair dye to come in. I ordered it. Now I'm just waiting for Mr. Delivery Man to bring it to my house. I'm tired of these roots. Downtown. And into the pickle. So this is where whoop-shoo, this comes in. Basically going to do that. I cannot. Waiting for my pieces to be done pickling. Downtown. Only use your copper tongs in the picker. Till I get you on the floor good looking. And there she goes. I got all my copper. And of course, dry them off, look over them, check the solder seam. Take a file and want to knock down any solder you see. So it's pretty okay. And of course, when you buff it out, it's not going to make too much of a difference. I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't nervous. This is my first, like, made-to-order piece. So, your girl's just a smidge nervous. So, I'm going to take the stones that I have. Sometimes a little nervous is good. Exactly. I agree with you. Set them because you can see they got all wonky in the solder process, and you want to fit them before you solder them to the back plate. This is important. because, and that way, got a nice snug fit. And because these have been heated and soldered, means they've been annealed. So it means they're super soft to work with. I don't know if you've ever pulled out of a jewelry bag a huge copper bangle, and man, that thing is tough. But because this has been annealed, it is super pliable and easy to work with. The thing now is kind of hardening it in a way where it's flat. I want to make sure the piece is flat, so I'm going to come over to my my block here and take the thing I was hammering on and flatten it a little bit, because like I was saying earlier, solder does not fill a seam. So now what's going to happen is I'm going to line up my solder bits where I want them. Whew. Move the stones out of the way. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mark it with a Sharpie, because when I burn or when I heat it up, I know that this Sharpie's gonna go away. So I'm going to set my pieces where I want them, and I'm going to set dots. Set dots where they're going to go. This way I know I have a level. And I tend to do the middle one last. That way I have the two where I want them. And then I can sandwich the middle one in there. Middle one's, you know, it's a floater. But, yeah. I want to make sure they're all lined up. And like I said, I am going to cut around this to make the shape of a goddess. But as it stands right now, this is the way. This is the way. This is the way. So, with doing this, this calls for the charcoal block, which helps retain the heat. And I'm also going to use this steel grate so that I can get underneath it, because that's where I'm wanting the heat to distribute and the solder to distribute. So I'm mostly going to hit it from underneath. And once I see the copper turn red, I'm going to hit it on top, because we still have to take into consideration that the gallery wire is a bit more fragile and weak than a plate would be. So in moving everything, it got a little moved around. So we're just fixing, we're adjusting. That's where these dots come in handy. And then I'm gonna flux the crap out of this guy. Okay. Oops. Check my lines again. And I'm gonna crystallize my flux. Sometimes when I crystallize my flux, it acts a bit like glue in some sense. And there we go. So now I'm going to take a bunch of my medium solder, which now I have to cut some more of, and I have my sheet, and I just cut hot dog ways, and then I'll cut hamburger ways, or horizontal and then diagonal, or something. you know, all that. And it's important to kind of get them down low here, so get your hand behind them so you're not getting hit with them. I can't wait till I get you on the floor good looking. And you don't want to waste. I'm not saying, like, solder's not very expensive, but everything adds up. Don't waste. It's not good. I'm not quite there yet to use wire solder. I believe just Sandy uses wire solder. I still like the Pallians. I don't trust myself enough yet to use the wire solder. And I am going to cut a lot more than I need because I really want this thing to be stuck on here. Alright. So then I'm going to distribute the Pallians to the 3 separate sections that I have here, which is the labradorite hole spot and the crescent moon shaped spot, and then the head shaped spot. I'd rather use too much solder and have to file it away than end up coming up short. And I'm basically gonna put my solder Pallians like in a clock. 10, 4, 6, wait, 12, 4, not 10. Sorry. And you can always add more. Now I'm going to take my solder pick, wherever I stuck that thing, and I'm going to move around my bits, paying careful attention to making sure you're touching the seams that you're wanting it to go. Because in doing the whole clock thing, the whole goal is to get a full and complete solder seam, so there's no holes. Also, another reason you put the dots is so that if your hand slips and you accidentally just lob something out of place, you can line up your dots back again. I do need a few more just on the crescent moon. Do it. mean, I can tell the difference in my butane and my torch. I know you're supposed to use triple refined. And, yeah. There's that. This butane is just not as good as the one I had purchased originally. What can you do? Except use your stuff. I'm taking this a little slower than I normally would. I'm like, what the heck, dude? Because I'm scared. I got this far, and I don't want to mess anything up. Get you one fucking Melt solder. Just have one stubborn pallion. Isn't that the way it works sometimes? You've got one that doesn't want to melt, so what do you do? Bring it. Give me some space. Give me some space. Now melt. Now melt. Now melt. Now melt. Now go. Now go. Now melt it down. Now melt it down. Hello. Hello. Let's distribute. Hello. Hello. Da 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 da. Let's go. Let's go. I need you to go. Melt it out. Melt it out. Go. Don't be afraid. Join your friends. Yes. Thank you. Let's not fight. Dang it, let's not fight. Fine. There's always a piece. Ready? And that last one took a trip. So I'm gonna pickle this. I'm gonna grab that other one out of the pickle. Clean it up and go from there. In the meantime, this is another one I was working on. Trying to fix it. Ah! Oh wow. Excuse me. Good gravy boat, man. Slept fine last night too. Wanted to do a witch doctor as the second one, but I'm thinking now I might do something a little different. It's pretty cool. But I don't know, maybe I'll just literally make copper. It's just there's so much to do, so much possibility, you know. And I wanted to make some more stuff that people haven't seen yet for the artisan showcase, of course. So, as a new beginner, or still working beginner, I don't play with copper as much as, you know, much as I do silver. I find it a little bit harder to work with. And by the party I just had. Could you tell? So let's do it again. Just going to crystallize the flux, and the flux helps with fire scale as well. Helps prevent it from staining. Basically, make sure that the pickle doesn't have to work too hard. the pickling acid solution. And I did spray the dickens out of this with flux, so it does take a little bit longer to crystallize as opposed to a piece that is a lot smaller. So I'm going to take my tweezers, which are right in front of my face, and I'm going to solder up in a few spots that I see some gaps. And I'm a beginner. I'm not afraid to say that I make mistakes. And if you start this up, you're also going to make mistakes. But I'm just trying to make sure that the product that I'm giving is up to the standard that I would like to receive. So there's that. Hey, Carly. Oh. My husband was sending me a filter link to Amazon. We need to get a better filter for our turtle tank. The kind of turtle food that Sausage eats, he's a sloppy eater. So he has crumbs on the bottom of his tank. And so eventually, like every 3 days, we have to like change out his water. And it's like a 20-gallon water thing. Well, it's kind of like, it's work obviously, but I don't want him to die, but it's just like, damn, like that's every 3 days, dude. Like, I don't know. I've never had a turtle. I don't know how that works, but whatever. So anyway, here I go distributing some Pallions again in hopes that I can make this work. Move the excess to the other one. Crescent moon didn't really stick well, or solder well. So I'm gonna be a little overzealous with the solder. And I know, we were reading how to, that's all a bunch of charcoal, the charcoal block burns. Anyways, that's what it said, but, you know, they said what kind of fish would be best to put in there. And I know I definitely need to make a trip to the pet store. I think that's something we'll take the kids. But it says sometimes too that you could feed feed the turtle some fish. So I have a red-tailed slider. So, you know, there's that. But I just don't want to make the turtle sick. I just don't want to hurt the turtle, man. Like, I just don't want the turtle to die. And had it been something that my husband and I planned on, I'm sure we would have taken the time to, don't jump, solder, taken the time to really do some research, but since this was like a last minute kind of thing, we kind of had to think on our toes fast. But he seems to be happy. He lets us know when he's hungry. I know that may sound odd, but he does. He lets us know when he's hungry. And he's the cutest thing. He's got a bit of a tude. So he fits into this house really well. Because my daughter, the queen of the tudes. So that was a lot easier to do. Probably second time's a charm. So I have a routine with him, much like my children that came out of my vagina. I'm making a pendant. I go and I turn on his UVB light in the morning because we keep the heater on him all night. And he swims frantically and he moves his head and follows my hand. And I did a little reading and they let you know. They're personable. The more you handle them, the more you're around them, the more they they talk to you. Yeah, red-eared sliders. I said red-tailed, sorry. Yeah, so we just need to get a better filter. And yeah, we probably should. If you know anyone with established things, sometimes they'll sacrifice some heated filter. Yeah, we were in the pet store. It was actually a reptile store. Because they said they did like, I don't want to say sacrifice, but they did like a handoff. Hey, Dad. And they wouldn't take him because he's under 4 inches. I think now he's grown. Like my husband and I were talking about, we're like, I think he's grown a little bit. But while we were in there, the lady was like, yeah, did you get this from the flea market? And we're like, no. You know, like we wouldn't just do something like that to this life. Like we wouldn't just get it and not have a plan. And a person was in there getting crickets, I think, for someone. And they're like, listen, in 2 weeks, I'm going to have a tank available. If you'd like it, I'll give it to you. And so people are really nice. I definitely could. And, you know, Cat's Alluring Treasures, she's on YouTube as well. She actually lives like 20 minutes from me. And she told me someone who would be able to take the turtle, but now I don't think we'd be able to part with him. Sausage is part of our life now. Sausage the turtle, yeah, they're so cute. I love that guy now. At first I was like, dang it, another mouth to feed. Oh, I'm just kidding. He's so precious. Kids love him. So yeah, working on a copper pendant here. Someone had requested from me a goddess style copper pendant. I have it stamped on here. I have it stamped on here, Live Your Magic, as per requested by the purchaser. That makes sense. And I'm checking my solder seam, and I still have a lift here. and here. So I think I know the issue that I'm having. Peanut wouldn't let you, yeah. I need to distribute my heat underneath as opposed to on top. So 3rd time's a charm. Let's do it again. This time, like I mentioned, I'm gonna crank it up a little bit. I know she wouldn't. Now, since I only had small amount of areas that were not soldered together, I'm just gonna, instead of sticking the pallions all the way around, I'm just gonna stick it in the areas where they need the most attention. It has silver melted all over it. I can't wait to get it. Okay. No! I'm running out of beauty. Just breathe. Meanwhile, let's do this. With fairly new pickle, this ought not take too long to pickle. Bing, bada, ding, bada, ding, bada, ding, ding. So essentially, with a little bit more evenness, this is what it's going to look like. Smelly Melly. How cute. I love that. Smelly Melly. That's funny. Yeah, she does, Mom. She cracks me up. A lot of times I'll be on the phone. It'll be later at night and whatever, and I'll get a message from Carly, and I'm like laughing because she's so funny. And Elijah's always like, "What are you laughing at?" Like, it's just Carly making me laugh. Yes. Pieces builded instead. So they went up the sides. I gotta figure out what I'm doing wrong. Every time. All right. Let's try this again. Yeah. It's in the same spot. Dang it. All right. I'm not going to add any more solder to it. I'm just going to heat it up. I'm going to heat it up from the bottom. Just from the bottom. Book 'em. And in hopes that the solder that basically is on the inside of the last time I filled up my torch, okay, good. Well, the last time I filled up my torch, it went, but I overfilled it. So, basically, I'm just going to heat this up. This is experimental at this point. Now, if I have to start over, I've got to start over. That's the thing. So it's still kind of like that. You see, this is on the lowest setting. It needs to burn off some of the butane. There it goes. Like I said, I didn't, there it goes. A lot twisted, mother. Hey, Viv! So, like I said, I'm not going to add any more. I am going to grab my, primarily focus the heat on the bottom. And I'm going to take my time. I'm going to do it. Because I have so much solder on in and around the inside of the cage, and I'm hoping that I'm going to have a better flow. This way. So I'm going to keep the flame moving. I can see it heating up. The red I'm looking for. Now I'm gonna hit it on the top. Yes, indeedy. Yes, indeedy. Let's do this. Let's do this. Yes, yes. Knock it out. Knock it out. It looks terrible. I don't know how it's, I mean, it sounds pretty good, but still. All right, so there's that. I'm gonna give it a second because it was really, really, really hot, and go from there. Probably could have used a little bit more time to cool off still. Very true. Very, very true. No truer words. I may have to be honest with you. I'm gonna set it in the pickle for a hot, wet second, and I'm gonna focus on something else that I was working on the other day, and I'm gonna file down that, because you're absolutely right. It's a very good point. But anyways, I'm trying to get ready for the artisan showcase, like I said, which is tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be on Jenny Jams' channel. Yeah, I know. It's my... I have some sterling ordered. It's just not here yet. And, you know, I definitely have to go pick up some poly mailers from the store because I ran out of poly mailers, which is absolutely an oversight on my part. I need to go pick some of those up. And I love you until I can get my order off of the Amazon. I run out of them so fast. And then I have to pack some stuff which sold overnight. And I got a list. I got a list until the cows come home. I'm gonna try to get on live later to do like a pop-up show. Love you, Mama. Pop-up live to show some of the stuff that I got today and yesterday. I gotta get productive. I gotta get it going. Knock it down. Hey, Aaron. Hello. Probably have to make dinner. Maybe spaghetti. Maybe something. Oh, no worries. Hope it's fun. Thanks for hanging. If not for a little bit. Well, I'm just gonna finish up here and work on that a little bit more. Oh yeah, you did? Thanks, Elijah. And get off here. So I want to thank everyone for hanging out and watching. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up button. Hey, if you liked what you saw, no forcing upon you. But I hope to see everyone tomorrow at the Artisan Showcase. Again, it's on Jenny Jems' channel, 10 a.m. Pacific, some other time Eastern, 1 p.m. Eastern. All right, see you guys later.